Ford were scrapping it out a lot more than maybe you were in the mix of that you get kind of lost in that conversation about who's best to be opposition or to be the new government?
Not at all. I think Mr. Del Duca spent a lot of time trying to distance himself from his record in government, and that's disappointing. Leaders should, they should take responsibility for their records. He obviously didn't want to do that. I think it's because he doesn't want to remind people at how disappointed folks were with 15 years of Liberals, and that they were shown that disappointment by only getting 7 seats last time around, and Mr. Del Duca losing his seat. They are going into this campaign with those 7 seats. We had 40, so we're really 10 seats, as few as 10 seats away from defeating Doug Ford. That's job number one. That's job number one for people who know that we can do better and that we should be doing better and fixing the things that matter most.
Andrea, what did you make of Mike Schreiner's presence on the debate stage? You've done a few of these debates now, but this is the first one with a Green Party representative on it. Did you think it changed the tenor of what you had to do as a leader?
That's a good question, and I welcome Mike's contributions and his comments. He does, however, suggest a pretty dangerous path. I think we would all agree that 6 out of 10 folks in this province don't want to see Doug Ford with another term because his cuts, his chaos, they hurt people. We can't do the things that people want us to do to fix what's broken with more cuts from Doug Ford. So job number one has to be defeating Doug Ford. And so I think the advice that Mr. Schreiner was giving is a bit risky for voters this time. This time, it's the NDP that can defeat Doug Ford, and that's why I ask people, let's come together and take care of that job. Let's get rid of Doug Ford and start fixing the things that are broken.
So do you think you did enough, not just to distance yourself from the Liberals, which you've had to do historically, but also from the Green Party tonight?
I think Mike Schreiner has a lot of good ideas. Many of them we've been talking about for years and years and years. The NDP has, for that matter, and I'm not going to ever stop listening to some of the things that Mr. Schreiner brings forward. There are some things that we don't agree on, but the bottom line is we have a job to do here in Ontario, and that job is to defeat Doug Ford, because we can't afford more cuts. People can't afford more cuts. The cuts that the Conservatives always make, they hurt people. They hurt our healthcare system. They hurt our education system. They hurt our seniors in long-term care. We had some of those cuts with the Liberals in office. People know that. That's why they were so disappointed after 15 years of Liberal promises that turned into disappointments. Now we have a chance to stop these cuts and move on to a government that's prepared to take on the things that matter most to people and prepared to make those investments, because folks are hurting right now. Not only the aftermath of the pandemic, but the cost of everything going through the roof. People worried about how they're going to keep their roof over their head. Tenants worried about whether they're going to get rent-evicted by their landlord. These are all things that we can fix, but we have to have the chance to do it. And the only way of doing that is to defeat Doug Ford and come together to form an NDP government that can begin that work.
You mentioned housing prices and bringing them down. How specifically are you going to do that? And are you worried about an overcorrection or causing a recession?
Not at all. What we're hearing right now and seeing right now are young people who have decided to give up. They've given up on their dreams to ever own their first home. I was talking about this in the debate. I'm hearing from families who are saying our kids are thinking of trying to get their own home, but they have to literally move across the province to try to find something affordable. I talked to a woman who's a grandma in southwestern Ontario and said she's going to move to the other side of the province in the north because she can't afford anything nearby, and it's breaking her heart that she can't be with her grandkids. People shouldn't be having to make these decisions. There are people that are not growing their families, that are deciding not to have that second or third child because they can't afford a bigger space to be able to grow their family. we can fix that. We can fix it in a number of different ways, including helping first-time home buyers with their mortgage, with their down payment rather. We can do that by making sure we're building more and spurring the building of more missing middle housing. Things like like starter homes, like smaller homes that you can get into the market, duplexes, triplexes, townhouses. We're not going to do it with Mr. Ford spending billions and billions and billions of dollars to build massive highways to mansions that nobody can afford because it helps his buddies and his developer friends. We also want to get the speculation out of the market, so we have some plans on doing exactly that. And of course, when it comes to renters, we have a lot of work to do to get rid of the damage that has been done by first the Harris Conservatives, then 15 years of the Liberals not undoing that damage when it comes to our rental market. And of course, things have gotten so bad in the last 4 years. We're going to bring rent controls back and stabilize the rental market, as well as building affordable housing and supportive housing, because we know that people need it in Ontario.